Hi. How you doing, folks? I'm James. This is Steve here, Mustard Slinger Sports. Down here on the field at Amon Carter Stadium, where we just wrapped up the TCU and SFU game. And this segment here is going to be basically our weekly show that we're going to be doing for you every week. It goes around the horn, talks about sports in the Metroplex and everything. Out of the sports that are here in the Metroplex, what do you want to start out about?
Might as well do Cowboys. First game of the year is tomorrow against the Giants at Jerry World. I mean, we got ended with the Dez catch, non-catch. I mean, the season's about to start again. No DeMarco Murray. I mean, what do you think is going to happen?
I think the Dez catch has got to be dead for now. You know, it's a new year. We got to start over. Whether it's a college team, whether it's a pro team, you always say you got to leave last year behind and you got to start
Easier
over.
said and done, though.
And go this year. But you know, it's the irony in that whole situation is the NFL did change that ruling on that. So that would have been a catch that he had if it would have been this year. You know? And it seems like the Cowboys always get these rules that go against them, but this is kind of one that kind of went in their favor. You know,
I agree.
The horse tackle with Roy Williams and other things, you know, that have been pointed against them, taking off the helmet because of Emmitt Smith and everything else like that. So it's kind of going to be curious. What do you expect the Cowboys to do this year? You think they'll go 12-4? Or?
No, they won't go 12-4. They got a tougher schedule this year. You know, they play the AFC East. They got the Dolphins. They got, which I think will be a playoff team. They got New England coming to town. They play Seattle again. I think that game was a little bit of a fluke last year when Dallas just dominated Seattle. I don't think that's going to happen again. And 12-4 is just hard to do 2 years in a row. When the Cowboys last year really weren't considered to be that great of a team. I see them going maybe 11-5, 10-6, getting a wild card berth.
Well, you know, speaking of that New England game that's coming up, you know, the big thing with that New England game was Tom Brady wasn't going to be there for that game.
He's going to be there now.
And he's going to be there now because of the ruling that came out in the NFL for everything like that. And then this past week here, we had them playing the Steelers, and there was controversy with the headsets going out and everything.
That's just a really weird situation. I don't understand how. I've never heard of that happening about the other team's headset is getting the play-by-play for the radio. I mean, how does that happen, James?
I don't understand how it happens unless you have a wire across or something. I don't know.
I just never heard anything like that happening.
I know it's sometimes in college games they've had it where headsets will go out, and I know once one side's headsets go out and they notify the referee, the other team has to turn their headsets off until both headsets come back.
Just to be fair, yes.
So I don't know how that works with the NFL. I really hadn't done a lot of research on that or anything, but
most awkward situation I've heard in a while.
It's something to look forward to. You know, I expect the Cowboys to do about the same as they did last year.
I'd say about the same. I just don't expect 12-4. I'd say put it more 11-5, 10-6.
Do you think they can make it to the NFC Championship game this year, or do you think they're another divisional in and out?
Yeah, I mean, if. And these couple ifs have to come into play. Defensive line has to stay healthy. Randy Gregory's got to get pressure off the edge. He had a sack in every preseason game. You know, the only three he played in. When Hardy comes back from his suspension, he's got to play well. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to take that next leap that we saw him take in the playoffs last year. And you can't have any more injuries in the secondary. Losing Skandrick hurts. It hurts bad. They need to stay healthy in the secondary, and they need to have some good play from Barry Church and J.J. Wilcox.
Well, Byron Scott's going to have to step up, too, with the Skandrick situation being out. And that's going to be really a lot of pressure that's going to be put on a rookie to come into a situation and be able to perform and everything.
A lot of pressure. And they're moving him around at the moment. They don't know if they want him to play in the dime as a nickel or to play at free safety. They just haven't made up their mind yet. That's a lot of pressure to put on him. And whenever they find a place for him to actually be, maybe he can have some confidence to make plays.
Now, you know, talking about the Gregory situation and everything, with him having the 4-game suspension, you know, a lot about's been made about that and everything. A lot has been made about him not being able to find the witness that was there for that, whether she disappeared or did whatever or anything. But I will say, I think the one thing he did, I don't know if this was under Jerry Jones' direction or not, but I do want to give him credit for it where credit is due. And I think it was really smart of him not to try to appeal that 4-game suspension and put more light on the Cowboys for a situation they've already seen bad enough situations.
Yeah, they already got it from 10-4, considered that a win, and just move on with the year and focus on more important things that have to do with the football team, rather than you just appealing, and trying to get your suspension reduced even more.
Yeah, now we're coming up. It's football season starting. That means that it's winding down the end of the baseball year here and everything. We've got the Rangers as it stands today, right now. They're a game and a half back of the Astros for first place in the American League West.
Yes.
And they've got the wild card right now as it stands.
The second wild card spot.
The second wild card spot, right. What do you expect this team to do? Do you expect them to catch the Astros? Do you expect them to make the playoffs for that 1-game buy-in game? What do you see coming?
I really don't. I don't expect them to catch the Astros. They do have the best winning percentage, the Rangers do, since the All-Star break in the whole division. I just don't see them maintaining that when you haven't seen them play that steady the whole season. And plus, a couple times this week already, the Rangers have been blanked out. I mean, their offense is really inconsistent at the moment. And still, the Astros have better starting pitching. The Rangers starting pitching is actually looking really good right now, but the bullpen to back it up is just awful, awful, awful. I just don't see him really catching the Astros and being, continuing this, 69% win clip that they're on.
Well, I think as it stands today, don't hold me to it because my math is sometimes bad on everything, but I believe the Rangers have 22 games that are left in their season. I know all those games are going to be divisional games except for a 4-game set I believe they have with the Tigers, which should be easy for them because they have
should win
manhandled
3
the
out of that 4
Tigers this year for everything. And then, but out of those 22 games they have left, you take that away for that's going to be 18 games they have left. Of those 18 games that are left, 7 of those are against the Astros.
Yep, 7 against
so
the Astros.
They have a chance to catch them if they wanted
Have a
to.
chance. That's the key word, have a chance. But I just don't see him doing it, keeping this going for this long. When offense is inconsistent, your bullpen is just blowing games here and there. Starting pitching is really going to have to continue the pitch lights out. And I think that's a lot to ask for from Cole Hamels, Colby Lewis, Giovanni Gallardo, and Derek Collin. It's a little too much to ask for.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you wonder when you see how good this pitching staff is for the starting pitchers, since they've gotten Cole Hamels and everything. It makes you wonder what would happen if Yu Darvish was there for that season.
A whole bunch of what ifs, like how good could this team really be?
Now, something you've been covering quite a bit that I really don't pay attention to because it's not one of my favorite sports in the world, but FC Dallas. I mean, what do you think about them with everything?
Well, they've been up and down the the Western Conference here. They've first place here, fourth place there. Their midfielder and probably their quarterback of their offense, Mauro Diaz, has been missing a couple games here and there. That's why they dropped from first to fourth. Well, they won a key game against Columbus last week, picked up about 3 points. So they're looking better right now, but the key games are coming up against the LA Galaxy and the Whitecaps. And those are 2 playoff teams, and they really need to keep rolling and keep Diaz healthy.
Now, the other big thing that's a big sport in the Metroplex now, thanks to a young man that's named Jordan Spieth, is golf.
Yes.
Golf, it's kind of funny. He's kind of fallen off a little bit. It looks like Jason Day is kind of the hottest guy that's on the planet right now. But then you take that and you look at what happened last week with Ricky Fowler and his ability to catch Henrik Stenson at the Deutsche Bank and everything, and he's pretty hot going in there right now. What do you think about the situation of golf that's going in here for the last 2 of the playoffs?
I think it's great. You got all these young guys, who are talented and who are streaky, and Jordan Spieth had to come back down to earth eventually. Tiger Woods, won the Grand Slam, but it was, not all in the same year. Spieth wasn't this close to completing the slam.
Well, yeah, he did. His Sunday play at the PGA probably wasn't the best that he could have had. There was some things he could have done, but Jason Day played lights out. There's nothing he could have done to catch him.
You just really can't expect Jordan Spieth to continue to play at that level. That's just almost unheard of what we saw. We haven't seen it since 2002 Tiger, and then before then, really haven't seen it since Ben Hogan in the 50s. It's just we don't see that kind of play very much at all.
Well, and plus too, if he could have made that putt on 18, that long putt on 18, and that would have got him into the playoff, and it could have been something totally different at that point in time and everything.
Yes.
But the weird thing that I don't understand about golf is, we got the official world golf rankings and everything. Spieth has missed the cut in the last 2 tournaments he's played.
Yep.
Rory McIlroy hadn't played in these 2 tournaments.
Yes.
But still, he was able to take over the #1 spot again this week in the world.
Yeah, I just don't understand that either. I understand how they do it all, James. Maybe you can make a phone call and see what goes on.
I don't. We'll have to call the PGA Tour and get on that one for something. Anything else you want to say in closing here before we get out of here?
No, I can think of.
All right, folks. That's going to be our weekly show for you here. Look for us to give you another show next week. It'll probably come after the SMU-TCU game. Until that time, everybody stay safe, and we'll see you next week.